folks, how you doing? This is the Views Expressed live right here on the Free America Radio Network on Spreaker.com. You can go to the backup site. I'm working on the I'm working on the main site, but I have a backup site, so you can go there. It's AmericanLibertyRadio.wix.com/ALR network. That is AmericanLibertyRadio.wix.com/ALR network. So that's your backup site for today. Welcome. It is the 17th of November, 2014, and we are live. We are not Memorex. We are not recorded. I did a podcast earlier, so forgive me if my voice sounds a little shot. Just a little. Coffee seems to help. So anyway, folks, what are we doing with this system that we're currently in? What are we doing with this system? Are we, enjoying all of this tyranny? Or are we enjoying everything that is, that is Barack Obama? Ferguson, Missouri is exploding. Have you seen the militarized law enforcement that is there right now? Oh, yeah, you haven't, have you? Huh. If you listen to my podcast from earlier, you'll get it. All right, you'll get it. The people in Ferguson seem to have a little problem. Okay, they just seem to have a little problem. They just can't keep their damn hands off of the, off of their toys, off of their military equipment, And here they are, Darren Wilson. I think that's what the officer's name was. There's a verdict. As of this broadcast, I don't know what the verdict is. It was supposed to come in the last few hours or maybe at the end of today, but I don't know what it is. But if it's anything, I mean anything, whether it's an acquittal or, probation or whatever it is, the people of Ferguson aren't going to take it. They're not going to accept it. They're not going to like it. It's going to be... it is going to be hell to pay, okay? It is going to be hell to pay. I will play the 3-minute video or audio, 3-minute, 16-second audio when I get back from the break. And it's from certain ArgusNewsNow.com. ArgusNewsNow.com. And I got this, I downloaded a video and converted it and everything from YouTube. So you can go to ArgusNewsNow.com. And I think the video's up there, I'm not sure. But hey, we're going to go to break. And when I come back, I'll play that 3-minute little clip for you. So, in the meantime, folks, stick around. If you want to email me, you got questions, comments, concerns, even if you disagree with me, I want you to show me why. freeamericaradio@usa.com, freeamericaradio@usa.com, and go to the backup site for this show, AmericanLibertyRadio.wix.com/ALR network. I shall return after this. Don't wait until another natural or man-made disaster strikes. Have at least 72 hours of emergency gear near you at all times, and that includes food. Get your emergency food supply today. Go to freeamericaradio.us, and at the top of the page, click on the emergency food supply link. Help your family by purchasing as much emergency food supply as you need. You'll be helping out your family and Free America Radio Network. Thank you. The Pete Santilli Show on the Guerrilla Media Network, telling you the truth, whether you like it or not. GuerrillaMediaNetwork.com. Hey folks, welcome. This is the Views Expressed live right here on the Free America Radio Network. A couple of things I want to share with you right now. First of all, you can go to the backup site. You can go to the backup site at AmericanLibertyRadio.wix, that's wix.com/ALR network. Let me say that one more time. AmericanLibertyRadio.wix.com/ALR network. Okay, that's the backup site. Okay, still working on the main site, but that's the backup site. And also, as a show note, after the top of the hour, the next hour after the news break from Liberty Beat, about 20 minutes in, I am going to, it's going to be the Chris Ann Hall Show. So check that out if you would, please. If you have any questions, concerns, comments, even if you disagree with me, show me why. Free America Radio at USA.com. Free America Radio at USA.com. And, let me play you this clip. I want you to hear this for yourself. And it is, it's incredible. It is just incredible. Give me your take on this. Here it is from ArgusNewsNow.com.
What started as a simple post of two photos on Facebook asking why there were so many Homeland Security vehicles in one spot containing hashtags for Ferguson and No Justice, No Peace ended up being an online post that cost one Navy veteran his job. Mark Pathrath was a houseman at Drury Plaza Hotel in Chesterfield until today, when he says he was terminated for posting those photos after being told on Friday to remove the post. ASN's Chris Gagne sat down with him after our news team drove through the parking garage to verify the location of the vehicles. Here's what Mark had to say.
So we're here with Mark Pathrath, a former employee of Drury Plaza in Chesterfield. And Mark, can you give us a timeline of events which led to us being here interviewing you?
Yes, sir. On Thursday, I took a picture and a short video of the Homeland Security vehicles in the parking garage of Drury Plaza in Chesterfield and posted them to Facebook with the message, "Why are all the cop cars here? I wonder if it has anything to do with Ferguson." And hashtag Ferguson, hashtag No Justice, No Peace. And then come Friday, I was told to remove them by the GM, which is Jeff Baker, which I did. And then on Saturday, today, he told me to go back in his office, which I did. And then the head of security was in there, and he told me I was fired due to the fact that I posted those videos and the picture on Facebook.
And
it cost them $150,000.
In a contract?
Yes, sir.
And that contract was with Homeland Security?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And you're also a veteran of the U.S. Navy. What was brought up in the conversation about your service to the country?
The head of security actually stated that I dishonorably served my country by posting those videos and the picture on Facebook. You know, if I would have known it was a secret, I wouldn't have done anything at all to harm the company in any way. But that was never brought to my attention, that it was a secret.
And you said today there was a posting to all employees?
Yes, sir. They wrote something on the whiteboard saying that don't state why they're here. They're just for training, and that's it.
Okay.
Now, we did drive through the parking garage at the Drury Inn and verify that the vehicles were in fact parked there. We attempted to get a comment from the manager on duty, who stated that he was instructed not to comment on this and that he would have his point of contact call us back for a comment. We have not received any comment from Drury Inn as of yet. So stay tuned to Argus Streaming News for updates on this story. Mustafa Hussain for ASN reporting.
There you go, folks. How you doing? Hey, Mustafa Hussain. I don't know what his name is, but it's probably a fake name. But I got that clip off of YouTube, and you heard the name there. Argus News streaming news or something like that on YouTube. I found it quite interesting. Excuse me. I found it quite interesting to hear a Navy veteran getting fired for free speech. Okay, for free speech. All right. I don't get it, folks. I don't get it. Okay. We don't have free speech here. You know, I was at a job many years ago and I got canned. Oh, I'm pretty sure some of you got fired from your own jobs too, but you know, there's stupid reasons why we get fired. Now, some of us will probably admit, hey, yeah, I deserved it. Okay, you know, whatever. But let me tell you something. As much, and I use this example from the ACLU, or the ACLJ and the ACLU and other, you know, and the Rutherford Institute. There was a case, I don't know who brought it to the court. I don't know if it was ACLJ, as ACLU, Rutherford, I don't know. But it stated in the verdict from the judge that the students' free speech, and it was in a school, it was about a school, you know, situation. The judge himself said, when a student goes to school, he does not suspend his constitutional rights, period. I added the period. So when you go to a job and you clock in, you do not suspend your constitutional rights, period. Emphasis on period. So I think every single person who has a job at a hotel, at a casino, whatever, should immediately go online and get a PDF of the Bill of Rights and shove it in the boss's face and say, I'm clocking in, I'm covered by the Bill of Rights and the Constitution, and if you don't like it, you can speak to my attorney. Okay? And there's a huge number of constitutional attorneys out there. I recommend the Rutherford Institute. Rutherford.org, I believe, is the website. Now, I'm getting sick and frickin' tired of companies thinking they can treat employees with such disdain because of posting something on some social network or in Twitter or whatever. I've had a supervisor tell me once that when you leave here, you're representing our company. No, I'm not. I'm representing me. Well, you know, people might know that you work for... No, not unless I tell them. So I want to challenge each and every single one of you here in the U.S. right now. Find all the laws pertaining to labor in your area that are specifically in support of constitutional rights of the employees, and then, I don't care how long it'll take you to do that, then get a copy of the Constitution, take it into your boss with a document he has to sign, and you tell him, I want you to sign this. Here are all the laws, here are all the regulations, the court cases, the court numbers, the docket numbers. Here you go. And this is for an example as to why I have constitutional rights even after I clock into this business. Oh, and by the way, here's a pocket constitution as a reminder. And then that document that he signs should state that, number one, he sees it, he understands it, and he agrees. 3 things. And if he says, I can't sign this, you tell him, okay, you have 72 hours to talk to your attorney. And you leave it with him, and you walk out. If he comes back and says you're fired for whatever reason or no reason at all, go to the Rutherford Institute and get an attorney and have them file a massive lawsuit against that business. Yes, I am telling you to rebel. Yes, I am. No company has the right to tell you to suspend your constitutional, God-given, constitutionally protected rights, period, when you clock in. Now, I know some people might say, well, that's not, well, geez, I'll get fired anyway and I'll find a new job. This is why I said go search your laws in your area about employees' rights and then contact the Rutherford Institute. Okay? I'm telling you, here's a grenade. Pull the pin and throw this sucker at the enemy. That's what I'm telling you to do. And forgive me if I'm telling you to do something. Oh, no one tells me what to do. Really? Your boss does, doesn't he? Your wife or husband does, don't they? Pull that pin and throw that damn grenade right into the middle of your boss's office with the Constitution. And you tell them, I am not going to suspend my constitutionally protected God-given rights for anybody. If a judge told the school that students do not suspend their constitutional rights when they're on campus, that goes for employees and businesses as well. Don't like it? Take it up with your attorney or go to the Rutherford Institute, rutherford.org. Check them out. I just know from my past dealing with certain people and talking with certain attorneys what can be done and what is, number one, lawful, and number two, what you're able to do about it. I've got the roadmap in front of you. I laid it out in front of you. Big giant circle with a big red dot in it with the words, you are here. Whatever highway or byway you want to take is entirely up to you. Okay? That is one of the things that I've had to deal with for many, many years. I had bosses tell me that I can't do certain things. I looked at them and I said, I have a constitutional right to do it. It's under the Bill of Rights. I want to argue with that. So you can tell I'm not with those companies anymore, but not because of what I said, but because of economic reasons. I was at a auto parts warehouse. And the reason why I got pretty much terminated from there, and about 4 or 5 other people got terminated, was the fact that they lost a General Motors contract for auto parts. So, economics. I don't know. Now I'm gonna throw this over here in this aisle, over on this side of the aisle. Democrats, you people are the dumbest people on the face of this freaking planet. You guys keep talking about, well, we want rights, we want this, and the people, and this. You guys talk a good game, but when it comes down to it, you guys are freaking clueless. Okay. Oh wait, hold on. Republicans, have you looked in the mirror lately? Because you people are about as confused and stupid as you people can be. Because you could have stopped all this crap back in 2008, but you didn't because, hey, your buddy was Mr. George W. Bush. You had to satisfy him. I am so glad I'm nonpartisan. I'm so glad I'm nonpartisan. Seriously. I'm just saying. Hey, I went to the Spreaker chat, and I want to say hello to Kowalski. That's what he goes by. Kowalski. Hey, how you doing? You happy? I haven't seen you in a while. Where you been? Where you been hanging out? Hope you didn't get arrested. I'm just saying. I don't know. You haven't been here in a while. I have no clue. But anyway, let's go to... Let's go here, folks, shall we? Let's go to, as soon as my Facebook page comes up. Let's go to... I posted a couple things on the Wayne S. Pierce Show Facebook page, so let's go over there and check this out. There was, get this. Here's the big one. Excuse me, freaking allergies. I want to ask you a question before I read this article. What is your take on Ferguson? What is your take on Ferguson, Missouri? What have you taken out of this situation going on there as being something that kind of rattles you a little bit? What, or do you care? I'm just saying. Okay. Now, if anything... Okay? If anything, you would think that the local authorities would do what needs to be done, right? Right? Okay. Well, the link I have up on the Wayne S. Pierce Show, it says this. Ferguson, Michael Brown's parents, let me emphasize that again. Michael Brown's parents they don't want the local authorities. They don't want the FBI. They don't want, any number of those people, the Attorney General, or anybody like that. Michael Brown's parents want the United Nations to arrest Officer Wilson. I'm not joking. This comes straight out of a Mark Dice video, which it goes to the YouTube, from, I believe, the Washington Times. So you might want to check that. Let me read that to you again. Michael Brown's parents want United Nations to arrest Officer Wilson. Okay? I'm just putting it out there, man. You guys go figure this one out. I look at it this way. It's going to be a freaking nightmare no matter what. It's going to be a freaking nightmare. All the blacks... And I have nothing against black people. I've got friends who are black and Asian and Mexican and, every religion that you can think of. We're friends. So I have nothing against them. But the blacks in Ferguson want Officer Wilson to die. It's essentially what they want. And don't tell me they don't. You can go talk to a half a dozen or more of them, and they will tell you, on the surface, they'll say, no, we want him in prison, in life. We want, whatever. No. Press them on it. Keep talking to them. And you'll find out that they want him to die. That's what they want, period. End of sentence. As far as I'm concerned, if you've seen all the evidence behind the story, you will see that Michael Brown was the instigator in all of this, and he's not an angel. Therefore, well, let's just say circumstances could have been different, but they weren't. When the coroner says that he has gunshots from a hand, from the arm and the body and everything. Why? Because the coroner said that he rushed Officer Wilson. The officer thought his life was in danger and therefore took the needed action. Okay? So, if, well, the police department said that he does keep his job, but I don't, like I said before, I don't know what the verdict is. It was supposed to come in today. I have no idea what it is at this time. But if he is acquitted, you're going to see riots. Why do you think they have militarized law enforcement, military equipment, hundreds of cars, hundreds of people down there? Why? Because the city is going to explode in complete chaos, and they have to have a way to suppress it so it won't get worse. Anybody remember the Watts riots back in the 60s? Okay? Same thing, folks. Same thing. I should say, not the same thing. Same type of situation. Except back then in the Watts riots, it was only a person getting arrested because he was getting a little mouthy with the cop. He was pulled over, for like speeding or whatever. So there you go. I'm going to go to break, and when I get back, just looking at my clock here. When I get back from this break, I'll talk about what Facebook is up to again. Holy cow! Can't they just keep their damn hands off the algorithms? I'm serious. By the way, Facebook is literally going the way of MySpace. What? What's MySpace? Yeah, exactly. Okay. Folks, you want to email me? Please do. freeamericaradio@usa.com. freeamericaradio@usa.com. And you can go to freeamericaradio.weebly.com for more information if you want to support the Free America Radio Network. And today we're using the backup site at americanlibertyradio.wix.com/ALR network. So check that out. And I shall return right after this. Chris Ann Hall, Liberty's lobbyist. Go to Chris Ann Hall, KrisAnnehall.com, chrisannhall.com. How far down the rabbit hole do you want to go? Listen to Ashley Jones on the Red Pill Radio Show on AlternativeCurrentRadio.com.
The world is falling apart. Countries are fighting for supremacy and control. Each country's leaders are saying they should rule their people. This is neither politically correct or morally right. It is the people that suffer by the hands of the corrupt leaders of their countries. For the people to be free, they must take a stand against the corporations that control the politicians.
American Liberty Radio Network, sharing the truth one fact at a time, without all the BS. Hey folks, how you doing? How you doing? This is the Views Expressed live right here on the Free America Radio Network. Go to our alternative backup site. That would mean American Liberty Radio wix.com/ALR network. And also, let me make a correction while I'm thinking about it. Ashley Jones over at Red Pill Radio Show. That's alternatecurrentradio.com. Alternatecurrentradio.com. Yes, Ashley Jones, you want to hear a fantastic show with awesome guests? Check that out. Awesome. It's awesome. By the way, speaking of which, I will be on her show tomorrow at 5 Pacific, 8 Eastern. AlternateCurrentRadio.com. I'll be on the Red Pill Radio Show tomorrow talking about this show, talking about anything else that comes up. So, come check it out. 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. Alternate Current Radio, the Red Pill Radio Show with Ashley Jones. There we go. Get that plug in there as well. So anyway, hey, go to freeamericaradio.weebly.com to donate to the Free America Radio Network, or become a sponsor of this show. You can do that. I'm not out to break your advertising budget, and that's the way I like it. Go to freeamericaradio.weebly.com, go to the sponsors page, check out what I got to offer. There you go. Or, hey, before another man-made or natural disaster happens, have your 72-hour food supply, emergency food supply, with you. And you can go to freeamericaradio.weebly.com, click on the emergency food supply link, and get as much as you need. You'll be helping out your family and Free America Radio Network all at the same time. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Onward and upward. Here we go. Yes. From news.yahoo.com. This is going to be interesting. Facebook shutting down a key path Obama used to reach voters. Isn't that lovely? An upcoming code change means Obama's groundbreaking 2012 outreach on the site won't happen again. John Ward put this up. Thank you, John, over at news.yahoo.com. Barack Obama's re-election campaign pioneered a path for political campaigns to reach voters through Facebook when it released an app that helped supporters target their friends with Obama-related material. But as the 2016 presidential campaign approaches, Facebook is rolling out a change that will prevent future campaigns from doing this, closing the door on one of the most sophisticated social targeting efforts ever undertaken. Quote, "It's a fairly significant shift," unquote, said Teddy Goff, who was Obama's digital director in 2012 and oversaw the effort that helped the Obama campaign gain a Facebook following of 45 million users that year. Goff's team used Facebook and other tools to register more than 1 million voters online and to raise $690 million online in 2011 and 12. Quote, "The thing we did that that will be most affected, by which I mean rendered impossible by the changes they're making, is the targeted sharing tool," unquote, Goff said. More than 1 million Obama supporters in 2012 installed the campaign's Facebook app. These supporters were given the option to share their friend list with Obama campaign. Goff said most of the app users did so, and when they did, Goff's team would then, quote, run those friend lists up against the voter file and make targeted suggestions as to who supporters should be sharing stuff with, unquote. It's a pretty lengthy article, folks, but let me read this next paragraph. Okay. Let me look here. All right. Continuing, this was a powerful new form of voter outreach. The Obama campaign had concluded that many voters, especially younger Americans, viewed TV and other forms of advertising from the campaign with suspicion and skepticism, but they were still open to messages that came from friends and acquaintances. The key to getting persuasive messages in front of persuadable voters going forward, the campaign decided, was to have them come from people they knew. Quote, it's extremely powerful for a campaign to be able to say to a user, hey, here are your persuadable friends ranked in order of where they live. Ohio first, Virginia second, etc. Go share this video directly with them, unquote. The Romney campaign also started doing this, but only in October, a month before the presidential election. Then, in the spring of 2014, Facebook, responding to growing privacy concerns, cracked down on how much information third-party applications could gain about those who installed the apps. Quote, we've heard from people that they're often surprised when a friend shares their information with an app, unquote, wrote Facebook engineer manager Jeff Spehar or whatever it is in a blog post. Quote, so we've updated Facebook login so that each person decides what information they want to share about themselves, including their friend list, unquote. Today, when Facebook users choose to share their friend list with an application, only those friends who also use the app become visible. Facebook spokesman Tara Randall told Yahoo News. The changes went into effect for new apps on April 30th, and existing apps were given a year before the change applied to them. In technical terms, what Facebook is doing is changing its graphic application programming interface, or API, as well as its terms of service for app developers. And it goes into a whole lot more. Folks, that's on the Wayne S. Pierce Show Facebook page. Scroll on down, you'll find it. So, what do we do as far as privacy is concerned? What do we do? I mean, Google has does anybody have a cell phone that's operated by Android? When you download an app, what's the one thing that you notice about, before you hit accept? They want to use your camera, your microphone, use your data. They want to capture your data. They want to, they want to do a whole lot. They just want to take everything you are out of that phone. And if you really want that app, I'm thinking to myself, well, I know this. I'm not going to tell you where I heard this, but there's a way you can get, certain apps in certain formats, and you don't have to go through the acceptance process. I forget what format that was, come to think of it. But, and I'm one who doesn't like to go around the rules. I'm one that likes to play by the rules, but every so often you got to bend them just a little. You got to fork over something to acquire something else, assumably. I think. Is that a word? So anyway, yeah. I feel that it's necessary for people to understand something very vital when it comes to their privacy. It's theirs, number one. And number two, no one should have any information other than what you want to give them. So, if you get an app on your phone or you download something on the internet and it says accept this, whatever. Read all that and ask yourself, do I really want my cell phone information to go to these people? You know, there's stuff on here. There's stuff on my phone which I don't, I don't give a crap what they want to do with it. I mean, it's stuff, But is it crucial? Probably not. So what about privacy, folks? Let's wander off into this direction, shall we? Google to spend more than $1 billion on satellite internet, reports indicate. Also, Google to test fly balloons which transmit internet over Australia. That's TheGuardian.com, by the way. It's reporting that. In Ferguson, tactics set for grand jury decision in Michael Brown case. Oh, and get this. Jerry Brown, the one in California, articles.latimes.com says, Jerry Brown urged to run for president, won't rule out 2016. He's in his 70s, folks. He's in his 70s. Okay, do you really want this guy who is screwing up California as president of the United States? Seriously. Here's the video of the audio I ran at the top of the show. Navy veteran fired for posting photo on Facebook of parked police cars. Yeah, go check that out. Also, yournewswire.com, 24 hard facts about 9/11 that cannot be debunked. You be the judge. And, of course, George Will on Fox News. If Obama couldn't get his amnesty through the House, that's too bad. GOP, the Daily Dose.com has that article. Now, how in the world, I want to know because I don't know. How in the world does anybody willfully ignore what is going on? How does anybody do that? How does anybody ignore what is going on? I've never understood that. I've never really understood that. I think that at some point somebody would realize, wait a minute, whoa, I can't ignore this anymore. Don't you think? I think that by ignoring it, what you're doing is you're operating on this false sense of self-preservation. Because you think that everything's going to get better. Well, no. You know what self-preservation is? You go out and you defend yourself. If something comes against you, then you defend yourself. But seriously, why are people ignoring what's going on? How do they not see this stuff happening, folks? Jeez. Oh, man. Anyway. Hey, go check out wakingupthemasses.com with Bob Brutus. He talks, oh man, go check out his show. You'll find it, wakingupthemasses.com. Check that out. It's trust me. Okay, well, don't trust me. Go check it out yourself. It's a show that you probably had. You're going to be pleasantly surprised. I really believe that. You're going to be pleasantly surprised. Whoop. Yeah. He talks about the secret societies. He has 4 parts. The introduction, the ancient mysteries, secret societies, 1, 2, 3, and 4. And I got to tell you, awesome shows. contact them. Tell them I sent you. Okay? Tell them I sent you. So, let me go here. Okay? Let me go here. I like going to the Drudge Report because it's a little bit, well, it's better than most. I'll say it that way. CBS, stlouis.cbs.com. This is out of Ferguson, Missouri. Today, Nixon, the governor, activates Missouri's National Guard in response to potential period of unrest. Jefferson City, Missouri. Missouri Governor Jay Nixon signed an executive order activating the Missouri National Guard on Monday afternoon, according to the news release. And by the way, this is currently 3:45 on the West Coast. This was put up at 2 p.m. apparently on the East Coast. Not sure. But Missouri Governor Jay Nixon signed an executive order activating the Missouri National Guard on Monday afternoon. According to a news release, the role of the National Guard is to, quote, support law enforcement during any period of unrest that might occur following the grand jury's decision concerning the investigation into the death of Michael Brown, unquote. By the way, that is a violation of posse comitatus, which, of course, the feds have thrown out because they don't like the fact that people can stick up for themselves. Quote, as part of our ongoing efforts to plan and be prepared for any contingency, it is necessary to have these resources in place in advance for any announcement of the grand jury's decision, unquote, Nixon said in the release. Nixon's order also established that the Missouri State Highway Patrol, St. Louis County Police Department, and St. Louis Metropolitan Police Department will operate as a unified command to keep members of the public safe and protect property while allowing citizens to exercise their constitutional rights. Okay. Under the executive order, the St. Louis County Police Department will have command and operational control over security in the city of Ferguson in areas of protest and acts of civil disobedience should such activities occur. Quote, all people in the St. Louis region deserve to feel safe in their communities and to make their voices heard without fear of violence or intimidation, unquote, Nixon said in the release. St. Louis County Prosecutor Bob McCulloch has said publicly that an announcement of the grand jury's decision will be made later this month. Okay, it wasn't today, it was later this month. The U.S. Department of Justice, which is conducting both civil and criminal investigations of the death of Michael Brown, has not announced when its investigations will conclude. Quote, our department, like other police departments in the region, has a full-time job keeping our neighbors safe. We are used to working with other agencies in times of necessity, said St. Louis Metropolitan Police Chief Sam Dotson in a release. Quote, having the support of the National Guard available will enable local officers to continue to respond promptly to calls for service, unquote. Quote, we have taken tremendous strides over the past 3 months as our officers have undergone thousands of hours of additional training and reached out to build strong relationships across the community, unquote, said St. Louis County Police Chief John Belmar in the release. Thus, these additional, quote, these additional resources will enhance our ability to achieve our key responsibilities, keeping the public safe, protecting property, and enabling people to exercise their constitutional rights, unquote. Quote, these past 3 months have been challenging for our community, but we have come together in many measurable ways, unquote, said Captain Ron Johnson, commander of Missouri State Highway Patrol Troop C in the release. Quote, the power of communication within the community has allowed us to take steps toward peaceful change that demonstrate the true nature of North County. The availability of the National Guard will ensure that law enforcement has the resources to protect 3 things vital to our community: public safety, property, and the constitutional rights of all, unquote. At a news conference Monday afternoon, St. Louis Mayor Francis Slay supported Nixon's decision to activate the National Guard and explained that members of the Guard will not be on the front lines of any protests. St. Louis police will serve in that role. Slay also advised St. Louis residents to, quote-unquote, go about business as usual, and said that he doesn't know when the grand jury's decision will be announced. The grand jury has been hearing evidence related to the shooting death of Brown by Ferguson police officer Darren Wilson. August 9th shooting of Brown sparked weeks of unrest in Ferguson as well as a nationwide protests. So, what do we do, folks? What do we do? I don't get it. I mean, seriously, I just... I don't get it. I'm going to put that on the Free America Radio Facebook page. I just don't get it, folks. Here we are. We're supposed to be civilized. We're supposed to be, respecting other people's rights, other people's, way of living. And, you've got the parents of this thug reaching out to the United Nations to try to get them to do something within the United States. They can't do a damn thing. They understand we're sovereign. They understand that there's nothing they can do. And even if there was, do you think they would have the guts to do it? Considering that there's hundreds of millions of people, or I should say tens of millions of people, armed. Even if they had one of the biggest battalions in their, on their side, the American people will win, period. This thing in Ferguson has just gotten, somebody lit a match under this whole thing, and it's now exploding into something much worse than it should have been in the first place. And then you have race baiters like Al Sharpton and Jesse Jackson out there, who they got booed and they had to leave. Did you hear about that? It's just amazing, folks. How in the world, now let me ask you another question. How in the world, other than, why are people ignoring all this, how in the world are people really understanding all of this if there wasn't, let me rephrase that. Why are people listening to their state-run media talk about this and putting their spin on it? Why not listen to something else? That's why I say support independent and alternative media, because we are the ones that keep digging and digging and digging and finding the damn answers. We just don't repeat it off a teleprompter, off some network news, cast. We don't. As Alex Jones likes to say on his show, this is teleprompter-free radio, okay? I mean, I totally agree. But here's the other question alongside of that. If you're believing the crap coming off of your state-run media, what does that say about you? Seriously, what does that say about you? I got a break coming up. We got the news coming up at the top of the hour. The Liberty Beat news. I just, hey, they have it for download. They haven't emailed me yet to say stop, so so I'm going to run it until I can get somebody to do news for me. But anyway, after that, I'm going to be around for another, 18, 20 minutes or something like that. And then I'm going to give you the Chris Ann Hall show at the 22 after mark, I think, in the next hour. But here's something that I do every once in a while. We get out and about. We go around town here in the biggest little city in the world, Reno, Nevada. And we hit the malls, we hit, other places, and we walk around. And I've noticed this, I don't know, people have their blinders on and all they have is what I call casino vision, because they're just, I'm going here, I'm going to do this, and that's just, if you're not paying attention to what's going on around you, it's no matter where you're going, it's not going to matter. You know, it really isn't, you know. So what do we do? How do we take care of the situation that is present in front of us at this moment? Okay. Now, I once said in a previous broadcast that mark my words, before or shortly thereafter the midterms, President Obama is going to declare martial law and suspend the Constitution. So where are we going to be after that? We're going to be up crap creek, you know what I'm saying? You know. So we have to think about this, and we have to really narrow it down to something that we know is right for us. And it's obvious, or maybe to some, yeah, but to others, it should be obvious. I mean, we have a situation in this country that requires the people to take matters into their own hands and do what they have to do. Seriously. I'm you know, I know what I'm going to do. I know what we have to do for ourselves. I know what needs to be done. But a one-size-fits-all answer won't work, or probably won't work for you. This is why I say go to freeamericaradio.weebly.com and hit the emergency food supply link and get as much food as you can. Or if you have a military surplus store in your area, you can go hit that up. See what you can get from there. Every once in a while, we go into the sporting goods section at Walmart. Yeah, we do go to Walmart. We haven't been there in months, but last time we went, we go to the camping section. Sporting goods, go to the camping section. You'll find all kinds of Mountain House products out there as far as, dehydrated food, and all that. I just look at it this way, folks. If you're not prepared for when the crap hits the fan, where are you going to be in 72 hours? And it's not going to take 72 hours for everything to fall apart. It's going to take less on average in certain declassified tests from the government. It's going to take less than 8 hours for the crap to hit the fan. If the power goes, oh my God. Folks, top of the hour coming up. Go to freeamericaradio.weebly.com if you want to support this network, or go to the alternative backup site, which I'm working on at this point, which is AmericanLibertyRadio.wix, that's wix.com/ALR network. Let me say that one more time. AmericanLibertyRadio.com/ALR network. That's our backup site. Okay, I'm still working on it, trying to transition from one site to the other, but for now, until further notice, that is our backup site. So I'm going to go to the top of the news, and after that, give you a few more news articles, and then we'll go to the Chris Ann Hall show. You got to check that out, Chris Ann Hall at chrisannhall.com. So check that out. And folks, this is the Liberty Beat News. Check it out. I'll come back right after that.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for Liberty news and activist updates, online at thelibertybeat.com. I'm Brian Hagan with your Liberty Beat for Monday, November 17th, 2014. Gold is trading around $1,149, silver around $15.36, and Bitcoin's trading around $400. Today's precious metal price is brought to you by Midas Resources Incorporated, helping clients convert their paper 401ks and IRAs to solid gold and silver. Get their 10 Reasons book free by calling 800-686-2237. That's 800-686-2237. The Liberty Beat is sponsored by eFoods Direct, redefining the way you think about storable food. They've created a menu of food that's so good, so easy to make, you'll find yourself eating it every day, even though it has a shelf life of up to 25 years. eFoods Direct is offering 10% off to all Liberty Beat listeners. Just go to efoodsdirect.com/LibertyBeat or call 800-620-5520 and mention Liberty Beat for your savings today. In the news, more than a year after surveillance leaks by Edward Snowden, a new survey from the Pew Internet Research Project has found that 95% of Americans are aware of government surveillance programs. The survey found that 80% of Americans are concerned with the government's monitoring of phone and internet communications. 70% stated they had concerns that the government may access information shared on social media sites. The Rosebud Sioux tribal president has announced that the tribe considers the U.S. House of Representatives vote to approve the Keystone XL pipeline an act of war. The Rosebud Sioux say they have made every effort to peacefully deal with the U.S. government despite not being consulted on the project, which would cross through tribal land. On December 10th, activists in Detroit and Greece will join demonstrators in Ireland to protest water shutoffs. There are 2 days of large actions planned, leading to a massive protest in Ireland's capital, expected to bring 100,000 people. The Detroit Water Brigade will be participating as part of their ongoing efforts to halt the city's water shutoffs. Officials with the city recently announced they will continue the water shutoffs through the winter. An estimated 20,000 Detroit area homes have lost access to water. Today's edition of Liberty Beat made possible by Central Texas Gunworks, your online source for firearms, firearm accessories, and ammunition. They take major credit cards and now accept Bitcoin. Visit them online, shop.centraltexasgunworks.com. Did you know you can support the Liberty Beat when shopping on Amazon.com? Well, you can. Just log into your account after clicking our Amazon affiliate link at libertybeat.com/Amazon. That's right, you can help the Liberty Beat continue to deliver hard-hitting Liberty news and activist updates by doing your Amazon shopping after following our link at thelibertybeat.com. This is the Liberty Beat for Monday, November 17th, 2014. Check out the website at thelibertybeat.com and like us on Facebook at facebook.com/thelibertybeat. Activists with Anonymous and Aboriginal rights activists marked the G20 with protests online and in the streets. The G20 is an annual gathering between the heads of state and central bank governors from the world's top 20 economies. Organizers with Anonymous Galactic called on social media supporters to hijack the G20 hashtag throughout the weekend, tweeting and posting less than flattering messages about the nations. Indigenous rights activists called for renaming the hashtag to Genocidal20. Throughout the weekend, activists gathered in Brisbane to mark the death of a prominent Aboriginal who died in police custody. Environmental and anti-globalization groups also held rallies. Artist Anthony Freda officially had his art, Questions, accepted into the official 9/11 Memorial Museum. Anthony Freda's studios met with officials in late October to submit the controversial piece of artwork, which includes the words false flag and patsy. Freda said he was thrilled to have the only piece of art in the official collection that questioned the official story of September 11th, 2001. The Liberty Beat is brought to you by My Magic Mud, detoxifying tooth powder, the most effective and affordable dental care around. Get a 150 application jar at mymagicmud.com. Want to reach tens of thousands of like-minded listeners every day with your messenger product? The Liberty Beat is looking for sponsors for their daily news service. Support this grassroots media project while expanding your reach to a targeted market. To inquire further, visit thelibertybeat.com/advertise. This is the Liberty Beat for Monday, November 17th, 2014. Check out the website at thelibertybeat.com. I'm Brian Hagan, reporting. Reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
Hey, folks, this is the Views Express live right here for the 17th of November, 2014. In about 20 minutes, you're going to hear the Chris Ann Hall Show. Right now, I want to get back into some of the news. And, whoops, not supposed to press that button. What the hell's going on? It happens, hey, let's go to, I want to say this before I talk to you about some news on this site. I do want to say something. I've watched a couple of videos this morning, and it was William Cooper, the late William Cooper, exposing Alex Jones for what he was back then, But you see, over the years, people change. Does he lie? Does he make up stories? Does he fake stories? Whatever. You know what? I'm going to say this, and I'm going to be very blunt with people, and I know they hate this, but if I hear one more time that people, I don't care who you are, say that Michael Savage or Alex Jones or Glenn Beck or this person or that person or morons or government shills or whatever, you know what? I'm going to say this to you. You bring me the documents proving you are right. Bring me the documents showing the canceled checks from the federal government or from Stratfor or from some other entity that is sending checks to Glenn Beck or Alex Jones or Michael Savage or whoever. Show me your evidence. And this crap about, a video where somebody's talking on a bullhorn out in front of a city government office, and Alex Jones walks up and starts, bashing him through his bullhorn, and then, kind of mixing it up a little bit later on his show. I want to say this. That doesn't fly with me. I want the documents. I want the multiple pages of evidence that you found that would be would be the smoking gun. If you can't supply it, documents. We're talking documents, notarized. Give them to me. Well, I'm pretty sure somebody else is saying the same thing as I am. You don't have the evidence to back up your claims because you can't prove yourself right. Shut your damn pie hole because you don't know what you're talking about. Period. Don't like it? I don't care. You can kiss my former Californian butt. It doesn't matter. Okay? That's my whole point. It doesn't matter. Well, if it doesn't matter, why do you want me to show you all the documents? Because you have to prove yourself right. I'm not going to talk to you or have a decent debate or discussion about this issue until you bring the information to the table of debate. If you can't do that, bye. Have a nice day. Enough on that. I rant on that every once in a while because I haven't seen anybody that had the balls or the guts or the backbone or the testicular fortitude to go do the work to bring that information to the front of the line, if you will. All I see is a bunch of freaking people pointing their fingers at Josh Tolley or Alex Jones or Glenn Beck or Michael Savage or Pete Santilli or anybody else. They're just pointing their fingers and spouting off with nothing to back it up. So you people ain't got the balls to do anything. You're a bunch of freaking whiny-ass cowards. Yes, I said it. What are you going to do about it? Nothing, because you're freaking cowards. Okay? I'm talking to the debunkers, the detractors. Well, you can't say that. I can say whatever I can say whatever I want. You don't like it? I got a tush you can kiss. Okay? That's just the way it is. Mama didn't raise no fool, and I'm very well educated, and I can see through bull crap every single day when people are dishing it out. Okay? The only one that hasn't really, let's put it this way. The only one that I know of that has gotten away from bashing Alex Jones specifically, or Glenn Beck or whatever, is Michael Vera over at Late Night in the Midlands. He saw what kind of a lost cause it truly was to try to wake people up in regards to his information that he may have. And let me remind you of something. I've been reminded of this by him directly. He does his research. You don't believe it? Go ask him. Late Night in the Midlands. You'll find that. Just look it up. He's on Spreaker.com. Go look up Late Night in the Midlands. Tell him I sent you. He's the only person that I know that has backed off, probably completely, about talking about Alex Jones. There's no solid evidence. I've seen the videos that his, Sherry Kane and Dr. Horowitz have put up. I've seen the videos of what William Cooper has put up. I've seen videos. And guess what? I've watched them entirely, and guess what? Nothing in there is the smoking gun to convince me that he's some kind of shill. Period. This is why I want the documents. I'm saying that again. Send me the PDF documents. I don't care if they're redacted. You're going to have to prove yourself right. And if you can't do that, shut your damn pie hole and have a nice day. Because you got nothing to say because you don't know what you're talking about. Period. End of sentence. Done. Want to get a hold of me? Disagree with me? Fine. Hey, great. Let's have a discussion about this. Free America Radio at USA.com. Free America Radio at USA.com. That's just the way it is. Have a nice day. Enjoy. To anybody who is not someone who bashes anybody, someone who has listened to my show for many, many, hours and is on my side, I apologize for that little brief rant, but I'm sick and tired of people. I've had people tell me I was wrong. I tell them to prove it, and they sit there and go, I don't have to prove anything to you. Excuse me, you're my accuser. I'm demanding that you prove it to me. They walk away. No balls. They're a bunch of cowards. They have no idea. They don't know what they're talking about. So there you go. Okay. School teaches kids the government gives us rights. I'll say this, and then at the 22 after mark, we'll go to the Chris Ann Hall show. School teaches kids the government gives us rights. God-given freedoms are, in fact, quote-unquote, special privileges granted by the state, says handout. Oh, you have to see this handout. A handout given to second grade children at a school in Fairfield, Connecticut says, quote, the government gives us rights, unquote, a disturbing example of how kids are being miseducated about their constitutional freedoms in America. Concerned parent Andrew Washburn posted the handout on his Facebook page after his 8-year-old daughter brought home the paper entitled, quote-unquote, Being a Good Citizen. The handout tells children that, quote, rights are special privileges the government gives you, unquote, and the, quote, government gives us rights, unquote. According to the paper's warped logic, quote, because the government gives us rights, we have a duty to be good citizens, unquote. The handout also later states that, quote, somebody someday you will be given the right to vote, unquote. Again, implying that this is a right granted by government. Quote, you see, I know how important it is to get children early in their lives and make sure they understand how it is in the world. Otherwise, their impressionable minds might be corrupted by falsehoods like the idea that our rights come from our Creator and that we are born with them, unquote, Washburn wrote on his Facebook page. The Bill of Rights outlines and protects the constitutional freedoms of all Americans, but even that document cannot be said to confer rights, which are in fact God-given. The Declaration of Independence clearly points to the fact that rights are not granted by government, but are endowed by the Creator. Quote, we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Children being taught that government grants individual freedoms and can therefore take them away on a whim is not only completely inaccurate, it's a disturbing insight into how educators are playing an unwitting role in brainwashing the next generation that government is God. However, this is by no means the first time we've seen schools attempting to indoctrinate children with authoritarian propaganda. Last year, a concerned parent sent Infowars.com a grammar test paper given to his 10-year-old, which asks students to reword the phrase, quote, the commands of government officials must be obeyed by all, unquote. Okay? I'm going to put this up on the Free America Radio Facebook page. Want you to check this out, if you would. Yeah, folks, I'm going to say it. I'm done with stupid people. Absolutely done with stupid people. That's just the way it is. You want to be stupid? Get the hell down the road. I'm done with you. Okay? We have God-given rights that are unalienable or inalienable or unalienable, however you want to put it. They cannot be taken away. Nor can a government give them to us. The government cannot grant us rights when they are God-given. They're nature's laws, nature's rights, nature's God. So enough of this bull crap. I told you many times before, get your kids out of those governmental indoctrination institutes, period. Well, I don't have the funds to homeschool. I can't send them to private school. They're your children, and if you do not protect them, we as a country do not have a future. Moms, dads, you have to do it. I love my nieces to death. I have nieces. I love them to death. They're older. My oldest niece is 30. My youngest niece, below her, is married. Let me tell you something. I would give my life for them. Matter of fact, let me tell you this. I have neighbors. May not agree with them. They may not agree with me, but if somebody came and tried to attack them, I would defend them. Why? Because I'm obligated to. Okay? It is my duty in this group we call humanity to take care of the group, and therefore we do as much as we possibly can to help us survive. And parents, if you don't take your kids out of those governmental indoctrination institutes, you are screwing them up, and we don't have a future. I challenge each and every parent at the sound of my voice to plan together with other parents to go to the school district, and demand that they do exactly what you as the parent tells them to do. Now, I know that might not go over well with the school district, but you tell them you have till next school year to make the changes that we want. If not, you're not going to have a school because you're not going to have students. And if you have to, parents, and the school year in this coming up vacation for Thanksgiving and Christmas, if parents, you can do this, if you're able to, take signs all around that school. Just walk down there and go in front of that school. And if they call the cops, you tell the police, we are invoking our First Amendment right in front of this educational institution. It is and find out what the legal rights are to do that, because you're on, you're going to either be on public property or you're going to be on private property. Either way, you still have a constitutional right to express yourself under the First Amendment protection. It's your God-given rights. Okay? So you got to do what you got to do, and you have to do what you believe is right for yourself. You do that, folks. You do that. Okay? I don't get it, folks. Nobody has the balls to do anything. Nobody has the backbone to do anything. Jeez. It's just amazing to me that the parents would abuse their children like that by not teaching them the right thing to do, that they have constitutional rights. Well, they don't have rights until they're 18. Hey, they came out of your body, Mom. As soon as they were put in your arms, they were protected under the Constitution and the Bill of Rights of the United States. Now, if you can't handle that, I don't know what to tell you. You better go back to school. You better understand that Constitution. Doesn't take a freaking 5 minutes to read the damn thing. Go look at a pocket Constitution. Jeez. People. Folks, I'm going to get out of here. You can email me at freeamericaradio@usa.com, freeamericaradio@usa.com. If you have any questions, concerns, comments, and even if you disagree with me, I want to know why. freeamericaradio@usa.com, freeamericaradio@usa.com. Ladies and gentlemen, this is coming up right now, the Chris Ann Hall Show for the 17th of November, 2014. I'll talk to you in a bit.
I know you're out there. I know that you're afraid. You're afraid of us. You're afraid of change. I don't know the future. I didn't come here to tell you how this is going to end. I came here to tell you how it's going to begin. I'm going to hang up this phone, and then I'm going to show these people what you don't want them to see. A world without rules and controls, without borders or boundaries. A world where anything is possible. Where we go from there is a choice I leave to you.
The Chris Ann Hall Show.
Any varmint that crosses that lady's path has met its match. Come
on! Rise and shine, liberty-loving patriots. Welcome to the Chris Ann Hall Show. Liberty over security, principle over party, truth over your favorite personality or politician. Truth reigns here. I am not a talk show. I am a teach show. And today we need to teach some things because I want to tell you what, when you push a rabid animal into a corner, you will see just how crazy can get. And as we have pointed out in the show this last week, Obama is not going to compromise. He doesn't think anything has changed. He still believes he has a pen and a phone, and he will continue to act as long as people don't do exactly what he wants them to do. And we are going to push this rabid animal into a corner, and we're about to see just how crazy can get. We have the EPA going crazy. We've got the FBI going crazy. We've got DHS going crazy. We've got just craziness. Obama and his pen going crazy. And we need to figure out what's going on here because it's just going to get crazy. I promise you. It is just going to go get crazier. I want to play this clip for you. This is Oklahoma Attorney General Scott Pruitt, who appeared on the Fox and Friends show. And he's describing what the EPA is about to do. Now, it's amazing to me that this is just brand new news to these people. We've been talking about this for quite some time, but the Clean Water Act, new rule that the EPA is going to put in place. I know that my friend Tom DeWeese has been talking about this for a very long time. I know that we have been trying to get this news out, but Fox and Friends is waking up, and now the Oklahoma AG, and Oklahoma is an extremely conservative state in their politics. And Oklahoma AG Scott Pruitt says, hey, you better wake up and see what this new water rule is doing. Now, we've been telling you that the EPA in their water rule is going to turn every standing water into EPA government-regulated water. It's supposed to be a navigable way, something you can drive a boat on. It's the only way that they could actually, extend their power by this misinterpretation of the Commerce Clause. And you're actually going to hear AG Pruitt talk about how the EPA has authority via the Commerce Clause. My Liberty First Brigade knows that's not true. That's just the product of AG Scott's Federalist brainwashing. But they don't have the authority through the Commerce Clause. As a matter of fact, the Liberty Brigade also knows that there is no constitutional authority for the EPA whatsoever. But what Pruitt is trying to point out to us is this, and this is the rule that the EPA is going to make. Now, he doesn't come and say this, but this is the paraphrased language of the rule. If the water is standing 90 days, it is now subject to the Clean Water Act. 90 days sitting water, and it's the Clean Water Act. Now, this is supposed to, as they put it, clarify, make it easier for you to understand, save money for businesses because, the EPA is going to come in and help you. Here's the official report from the EPA. It reduces confusion about the Clean Water Act. It clarifies types of waters that are covered, saves businesses time and money, provides more benefits to the public than costs, and helps states to protect their waters. Well, I guess maybe if you have a puddle in your yard that stands, 90 days. Here in Florida, we have a rainy season. We actually do, where it rains quite a bit, which means now that puddle in my yard that stays probably close to 90 days once the rain is really going is now subject to the Clean Water Act. And I suppose, according to the EPA, that means that I can apply for conservation benefits from the EPA. Of course, as long as I just let them come in and regulate my property. It'll help us protect our stagnant puddles. Isn't that awesome? Reduces confusion about the Clean Water Act. Yeah, what's the confusion? The confusion is the EPA says that water is whatever they say it is. Our power is whatever we say it is. And this is clearly legislation without representation, because I'll remind you, you elected no one at the EPA. But listen to what AG Scott Pruitt says, because he makes some very important points.
Well, fundamentally, this is about private property rights. You have the EPA for the first time coming in and trying to redefine what constitutes a water of the United States. Generally, that's been, and historically, navigability because of the interstate commerce authority that the EPA has. But now you have them coming into the states across the country and trying to assert jurisdiction over water in a drainage ditch. And this is about permitting authority, about extending its reach into oil and gas and farming and ranching and building shopping centers across the country. It's a very important rule. The EPA will say this is all about providing clarity. This is about a redefining of what constitutes a water in the United States so they can assert themselves over decisions being made by the states.
Over decisions being made by the states. This is a states' rights issue. This is a states' power issue. This is a permanent transgression of power, a permanent seizing of the private property of the citizens, a permanent seizing of the state's power and state's authority, a permanent expansion of power. This is expanding power. and redefining power. And you don't think this is going to end here. I mean, we went from navigable waterways, which are now permanently under the authority of the EPA, expanding that permanent power to drainage ditches. Remember, and it's not even just drainage ditches. I promise you, if it stands for 30 days or for 90 days or more, it is now EPA jurisdiction. It is the EPA redefining power. All of these things are legislation without representation. Legislation by no one elected by you. Permanent power, expanding power, redefining power, all of this done within the executive branch. This ought not be, people. And what needs to happen is Oklahoma AG Scott Pruitt needs to just stand up and sound off and say, look, we're not doing this. You can say whatever you like, but we will not have this in our state. We will not allow you in our state to regulate our drainage ditches and our puddles. My people in Seattle, you guys have a lot of rain. How long does rain sit still on your property? Because now that's going to be subject to the Clean Water Act and ruled and regulated by the EPA. This is what Agenda 21 is all about. And that's what this president's phone and pen is all about. But see, the real solution is this. And it's something that we've talked about on the show before, but we need to bring it up again. Arizona has passed a huge proposition this past election. The Arizona Rejection of Unconstitutional Federal Actions Amendment, Proposition 122, passed. And what happened was this codified in the state's constitution the legal doctrine called anti-commandeering, which is the right of the state to not be forced by the feds to fund programs run by the feds, demanded by the feds. Now, the important thing to recognize here is even the Supreme Court says that the states do not have to do programs that the feds say they have to do. That's the whole big shtick, right? The states don't have to do any of these things that the feds say they have to do, and they don't have to do any of these things that the states say they have to do. Just because the feds request it, even the Supreme Court says the states don't have to comply. But here's the catch. Because the feds dangle this carrot money over the heads of your legislators, and instead of doing their job and defending the state's sovereignty and defending your liberty, they take the money and then they take the intrusion. But in Arizona, the people have woken up to the point where we say, look, we're just going to go ahead and codify this so that we are on the record as saying, no, you can't do this. This is a legislative act passed by the people that affirms nullification. It is the state of Nevada saying, no, we're not going to follow the EPA's Clean Water Act. We're not going to follow the FDA's food regulations. We're not going to follow the DHS militarization of our personal property. We're not going to do it. And this is the big deal. And I believe we talked about this on the show. This nullification of federal marijuana laws, this nullification of federal gun laws, this nullification of federal laws that is happening throughout the country is catching on. It's contagious. And A.G. Pruitt in Oklahoma needs to catch a bit of what's going on in Arizona and just say, look, this is a violation of our rights. This is clearly, even if we give you the benefit of the doubt for the Commerce Clause, you cannot say our drainage ditches and our puddles are commerce. No matter how hard you try to stretch that, we are not going to buy that. And so your regulations simply are not going to be recognized here. They will not be recognized, and you will not enforce them. and we will not enforce them for you. See, this is the key to understanding. Nullification is not declaring something null and void. It's just pointing out that it already is. The EPA has no authority to do this. This is a permanent power, an expanding power, a redefining power, all done by the EPA. On whose authority? None constitutionally. And so that's why the states need to stand up and say, sorry, it doesn't work here.
Chris Ann Hall Show. She's Liberty's lobbyist.
So I'm really excited about Arizona's Proposition 122 passing, this Arizona rejection of unconstitutional federal actions. I mean, I think that's really awesome, and I think it needs to happen in a lot of places. Now, you know, it'll never happen in my state as long as we have the government that we have. My state of Florida is just totally infested with federal supremacists. You know, my Senate President, Don Gates, sent me a personal email, personally addressed to me, telling me that I should be shot or hanged because I believe what Arizona just did. Don Gates said I should be shot or hanged because I believe that the states have the authority to stand against unconstitutional power of the federal government. Now that is the power, and we are infested in our state, and so many of you are as well. But that's why it's so important for us to wake up as citizens and do things. You know, I'm always complaining about the politicians running their mouths. Talk. Talk is cheap. Why don't you do something around here? Why don't you... let me. Congressional hearings are not doing things, okay? So I understand we're going to have another congressional hearing. Big, hairy deal. What have we seen from any congressional hearing whatsoever? Nothing. It's all just a bunch of talk. I'm sick of talk. I want to see some action, but you know what? That applies to us as well. We got to stop complaining and start doing. And the tools of doing lie in the education of your politicians and the refusal of electing federal supremacists. You have to just boot out people like Don Gates. You have to get rid of attorney generals like my Attorney General Pam Bondi, who believes that she is the ultimate dictatorial authority in the state, who argues with the Supreme Court of Florida that we need to be... have the local police departments seizing our electronic equipment without a warrant, who argues before the Supreme Court that anybody who owns a gun must be automatically declared a criminal and proven innocent by their paperwork. Yeah, Pam Bondi believes in guilty until proven innocent. But you got to get rid of people like that. You've got to identify people like that. You've got to discern who these people are, cast judgment upon them, and refuse your support. Now that's gonna chap somebody the wrong way. We have some kind of idea that because, we're not supposed, the Bible teaches, so here it is, the Bible teaches you're not supposed to cast judgment on people. Really? You think that's what the Bible says? Well, let's look into that for just a second. So this is a point to ponder for Christians and non-Christians alike. You see, we have something that we have to talk about here. This is a message for Christians and non-Christians alike. Discernment. Everybody likes to quote that scripture, "Judge not, lest ye be judged." So listen up. Because we're taught that we're supposed to make judgment upon people's intentions, dedications, and honesty in the Scripture. The line of thought that says we're not to make judgment about people is simply not scriptural. And here's Matthew chapter 10, 12 through 15. "And when you come into a house, salute it. And if the house be worthy, let your peace come upon it. If it not be worthy, let your peace return to you. And whosoever shall not receive you, nor hear your words, when you depart out of that house or city, shake off the dust off your feet. The scripture does not say for us to make excuses, give passes, wait for them to come around. It says, give the instruction, and if they refuse, walk away. Move on to the next mission, applying the same principle of discernment. I say that we're supposed to apply this in our lives with due diligence. We need to apply this judgment of people and their intentions in the political realm. It is scriptural to discern your politicians' intentions. If through their actions they refuse to listen to you, they've refused the truth, they've refused to do what they're called to do, if they refuse to stand on principle, then you must depart from them, shake the dust off your feet, and don't look back. Time to find someone who will be true, honest, and principled. This scripture is clear that we are not to enable them in their actions, but recognize their nature and then let God deal with them. Matthew 10:15 says, verily I say unto you, shall be more tolerable for the land of Sodom and Gomorrah in that day of judgment than for that city. You know, those people that just refuse the truth and refuse their principles. Stop trying to defend and make excuses for people we should be denying our support to. It's a matter of discernment. It's a matter of judgment. And both are of God. You see, stop making excuses for your politicians' talks and no actions. Your discernment should kick in and say, hey, I've tried. So now I'm going to stomp the dust off my feet and say goodbye. Some people wouldn't like that I was different. It never really mattered how hard it would be, cause she filled me with love and the strength to lead. She said, something down if you get in our way.
The Chris Ann Hall Show. She's Liberty's lobbyist.
So there you have it. I believe that nullification is a biblical principle. It absolutely is. It's our attempt to instruct. It's our attempt to discern what's working and what's not working, to discern what's right and what's wrong. And for those who refuse, it's up to us to just stomp the dust off our feet and move on. And the states must be nullifying the federal government's actions when they refuse to listen to the truth of the Constitution, and the states must be discerning of that. We are talking about out of control government today. I mean, absolutely out of control. Things where we should not even be experiencing this type of government in a constitutional republic. The EPA declaring that puddles are now governed by the Clean Water Act. That ought not be. And now we have undercover feds watching our protests. According to RT, the federal government is approving high numbers of operations in which agents pose as activists and business people. Seriously. They're posing themselves as activists and business people. You know, we joked in the Tea Party movement that, oh, well, you know, who's the plant, who's the DHS guy, who's the FBI guy. But you know what? Undercover agents from different departments are now investigating each other because they can't keep up with this. At least 40 government agencies use undercover operatives in the United States. In the United States. With agents pretending to be business people, protesters, doctors, accountants, welfare recipients, in order to monitor illegal activity. Now, this was printed in the New York Times, which cited records and interviews. Now, this is the absurdity. This is how stupid government gets when it gets out of control. In certain cases, it's not just one undercover agent investigating a situation, but a whole team of officers. In one example, undercover officers mix with protesting students in front of the Supreme Court to identify any suspicious activity in the crowd. Yeah, the IRS uses dozens of agents who pretend to be accountants. The Department of Agriculture has more than 100 undercover agents who pose as food stamp recipients. Where's the warrants for all of these things? These are all searches and seizures. They're going to pretend to be somebody? Oh, well, no, it's a consensual. No, it's not a consensual situation if you don't know who these people are. You have the DEA agents trying to infiltrate the same drug ring as in Atlanta as the FBI and the NYPD officers who are working the same case undercover. First number, what is NYPD doing in Atlanta? Now the FBI and the DEA are all working on the same case. This is why we have trillions of dollars in debt. This is why we have absolutely no sense of just how far we've gone. One intelligence official at the Department of Homeland Security told the news agency that the agency spends about $100 million annually on undercover operations. Agencies like the FBI could be spending up to hundreds of millions of dollars a year. And we're not talking about, Islamic extremists here. We're talking about protesters. We're talking about people who, you bet your bottom dollar there are people in your Tea Party meeting. You bet your bottom dollar there are people at the big rallies. I guarantee it. And now, what are we going to get? Another congressional hearing, perhaps? I don't understand this. That's all we need is another congressional hearing. Well, we actually do. Darrell Issa told the Department of Homeland Security to turn over Secret Service reports by Monday. Really? Representative Darrell Issa wants Homeland Security Secretary Jay Johnson to turn over by Monday every readable copy of a report detailing Secret Service missteps during the September 19th White House security breach. Oh, I love that. Darrell Issa has real teeth. Turn over these documents by Monday evening or we'll demand that you turn them over again. And if you don't turn them over after we've demanded again, we'll just say please. And if you don't turn them over after we say please, we'll stop saying please as we demand them again. And if you refuse to turn them over, then we'll have a congressional hearing. And then we'll get to say really busy things to you. We'll get to say really nasty things to you. And we'll criticize you. And we'll tell you how evil and oppressive you are. And we'll tell you how bad things are. And then what? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. So what are you going to do? What are you going to do, America? Are you going to continue to let these people just run off at the mouth and do nothing? Well, I sure hope not. Because the real issue here is this. If you're tired of their talk, then why is that's all we do? I mean, why is that? There's some very scary things going on, and we need to wake up. Now, the good news is, we have Arizona waking up. We, the people, are waking up. We're not real happy about the FBI and the DHS being all up in our Cheerios, but we're going to fight back sooner or later. I guarantee you. Sooner or later. It's an inevitability. Arizona telling the feds, you know what, we're just not going to do anything that you tell us to do unless we want to do it anyway. Hopefully, the Oklahoma AG will stand up and tell the EPA to go pump water. And now, this is very exciting. Because, we have been teaching about Article 1, Section 7 and the power to defund the executive branch and all their actions. And I have had people poo-poo me on Facebook page, and every time I turn around, Article 1, Section 7 defunding is not really defunding anything. You don't really actually get rid of anything by defunding it. Oh, really? That's interesting. So let's just stop paying our taxes and see how much government we get. They'll just keep going if we stop paying our taxes? Okay. No, defunding is the key. James Madison knew it was the key. And now, apparently, all this talk that we're doing, we're seeing some small victories. I want to show you, even though this is crazy, out of control federal government day, I want to show you some small victories. Arkansas Senator-elect Tom Cotton hinted on Sunday, according to Fox News, that he and his fellow Republicans are going to use spending as a power against executive action on immigration. Spending. The GOP-controlled lower chamber could pass a spending bill that limits the president's ability to spend on Social Security cards for illegal immigrants who may be granted some type of U.S. residency through executive action. Now let me look. This isn't perfect, but this is a step in the right direction. See, they're recognizing the power of their purse. And it's rather creative. It's not efficient, but it's creative. You see, that's what they should have done when they were busing them down. We'll stop the president's funding. We'll pull all the funding that he's using to bus these immigrants all over the country. We'll just stop the bus funding. And then what are they going to do? We're going to stop the Social Security card funding. And then what are they going to do? I mean, these are the things that we need to look at. These are baby steps, okay? You've got to give them baby steps. This is not compromising, but this is recognizing small victories. And it's time for us to step up and say, look, yes, that's it. Now let's go one more. Let's go one more. Let's not fund food stamps to illegal aliens. Let's stop all the funding to food stamps when they go to illegal aliens. Let's stop the funding of the, marketing that we're doing in Mexico. We spend at least $11 million a year marketing our food stamps in Mexico. Let's defund that. Let's defund these Constitution-free zones and transfer that money and move all of those checkpoints, which are 60 miles within the border. Let's move them on the border. Okay, we're just going to move them 60 miles so that the Constitution-free zone is actually Mexico, and so that we can stop people from coming in. And then we will defund any housing of criminals who are illegal aliens. We'll defund that. And any funding that we take from that, we will supply to the states to fund the deportation of these illegal aliens on the state level. Because I believe that it is constitutionally sound for the states to say, hey, these illegal immigrants are in our country and in our states illegally. The federal government is refusing to do the job we hired them to do. So now we, the states, are going to deport these people. And these are the things that Congress should be supporting. They can defund and refund things that are supposed to be happening. And I'm rather excited to see them feeling a little bit creative. After all, that's what Obama said. Let's be creative, right? We're going to need to be creative. I'm glad to see the Senate and the House being a little creative. Who cares? The president doesn't have to have a say in this. So what if the president doesn't like it? You know what? In spending, the president really has no say. As a matter of fact, the Senate doesn't even have any say. But now that they have the Senate, there is absolutely no excuses at all. And it's about time that we, the people, start making we, the government, do what the Constitution says it's supposed to do. The purpose of the federal government was to be a representative of the states in foreign affairs, to protect our borders, to defend us from attack, to engage in foreign commerce, not local commerce, foreign commerce, and to take care of, I'm not quite sure how this fits in, the post office, and to dictate the currency, which was not supposed to be paper money, by the way. And so now, it's about time that we, the people, return to a constitutional perspective. But that's going to take hard work by us. That's going to have to take a change. We're going to have to discern those people who are willing to stand with us and who are not. And stomp our feet and turn our backs on those who talk, and do nothing.
The Chris Ann Hall Show. She's Liberty's lobbyist. KrisAnne Hall Show. She's Liberty's lobbyist.
Well, there you have it. Another show in the can. What an exciting teaching day. What did we learn today? We learned about the 10th Amendment, the power of the states, and nullification. We learned about the fact that the EPA does not have a constitutional authority to exist, and that when they reinterpret their rules, right? When the EPA creates permanent power, expands their power, and redefines their power, that's legislation without representation because you elected no one at the EPA. We know that Darrell Issa is going to head up another congressional hearing. Woohoo! But we also know that maybe there's going to be some boldness. Sparks at first, but if we fan the flames, maybe we can have an inferno in Congress that will start limiting government the way we want it. Be careful now. Your federal supremacists will get terrified. They won't be able to handle themselves. They won't know what to do when they see all of the states standing up and saying, no, we're not going to do this. No, you can't do this. But guess what? Martin Luther King said one has a moral responsibility to disobey all unjust laws. You have an obligation to engage in civil disobedience when the government becomes unlawful and unjust. What is civil disobedience? Civil disobedience is not violence, okay? Civil disobedience is not throwing Molotov cocktails and tear gas and beating people with clubs. No, that's the federal government. And so we are not engaging in civil disobedience. When we're doing that, we're engaging in violence. Civil disobedience is simply saying, no, I will not comply. I will not comply with that unjust law. I will not comply. Period. And you can do whatever you want. As happened in Selma, you can beat me. You can throw me around. You can throw me in jail. But I will not comply with an unjust, unconstitutional law. And that's precisely what our framers intended for us to do. They intended for us to refuse to comply with unconstitutional laws. Governments are instituted among men, deriving their just power from the consent of the governed. And when any government operates contrary to those means, it's the right of the people to alter or abolish. Establishing new governments. We are a constitutional republic. We do not have to go around rebelling and chopping off kings' heads. We are a government instituted among men where the power and the rights belong to the people. And when the government tries to usurp those rights, it is the duty of the people to refuse to comply. It is the duty of the people to take those rights back. It is the duty of the people to say, no, we'll do this no more. No, we'll have no more of this. We will not fund you in this. We will not comply in this. And you can do whatever you want to do. No compromise. See, that's the nice thing about being we the people. We don't have to compromise with our oppressors because we have all the power. And the government is the subject of our kingdom. The question becomes, who will be our winter soldiers and our rainy day patriots? Who will be willing to be the James Otis Jr. that says, I will do this. I am resolved to do this and let consequences be as they will. Liberty is worth more than my name. What's liberty worth to you? What's the freedom of your children worth? Martin Luther King decided it was worth a lot. What's it worth to you? Is your comfort worth more than your freedom? Are your provisions worth more than the liberty of your children? I just want to ask you, what do you want your legacy to be? A legacy of prosperity and government rule, or a legacy of liberty and self-sufficiency? It's really up to you. the only question you need to ask. God bless.
This has been Free America Radio, the News Express Live. Thank you for being here. Thank you, Chris Ann Hall, for another excellent show. Email me, freeamericaradio@usa.com. freeamericaradio@usa.com. Go to freeamericaradio.weebly.com for more information, or the backup site at americanlibertyradio.wix.com/ALR network. Talk to you later. Talk to you tomorrow. 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern. We the people have the power, for we are America.